Capital, royalty-free.
Thank you.
Ads currently provided to you by Upbeat.io.
My YouTube presence thanks you for that. On today's Farm4Fun episode, we head to South Dakota to have a show of firsts. It's the first guest we've ever had in the ASMR. With that in their bio. What does that mean, Ted?
I don't know what that means. I don't even get the letters right.
What does it mean? I don't know what it means. He's the first ever sheep person we've ever had on the podcast. He's a master sheep shearer, has 1.2 million followers on TikTok, 7,500 followers on Instagram, 26,000 subs on YouTube. Just said that he cracked, what, 500 million views?
500 million.
He just had his first viral video go on Facebook. And I might have to add, he has a great name, and it's spelled correctly. Please welcome Mr. Corey Bricker.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
So, David, how is that spelled?
Appreciate that.
Don't ask me, because in my phone it's C-O-R-Y, C-O-R-E-Y.
It's EY over here.
Yeah.
Mine's an EY.
That's the way to go. That's the way to go. But how's it going, man?
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. It's good. It's good. Thank you.
So you got a fancy mic, and you sound clear. Is that like an ASMR mic?
That's a Yeti.
It's a Blue Yeti.
Blue Yeti. Yeah. Got
Do
you.
you like it?
I do. So
It even sounds good, doesn't it?
It does sound good.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
It's good, huh?
Do you like it like that? Anyway, Corey, I gave a little bit of a synopsis. How do you introduce yourself?
Corey? Well, Corey, I'm Corey Bricker.
Yeah.
I'm from Belfast, South Dakota, USA. Sheep shearer. Yeah.
Sheep shearer. So
Yes.
that's literally the day job. You shear sheep.
Well, it is. I'm sorry, I got distracted. It's a little hard to see the screen, but it looked like a chessboard in the background, but I realized that's probably your soundboard.
Yes. I had to mute my phone so that way you don't get notifications from everything come across.
When are you going to be home?
So
I'll
continue.
put my phone on Do Not Disturb just for this. So
There you go.
right.
So sheep shearer, South Dakota, that's what you dreamed of when you wanted to grow up, and you said, that's what I'm going to do.
that's too funny. No, that is definitely not. Definitely not.
All right, so we cut you off. Finish the introduction side of things.
Well, that's actually a great starter question. I know there's a lot of people that actually want to set out to be sheep shearers. My dad was a sheep shearer, so it kind of ran in the family. It was also a generational thing as well. Like some of my great uncles were sheep shearers, actually blade shearers, and my dad was a machine shearer. And I started out, coming along with these guys, and I'd bag the wool, when I was just like from 8 years old up to 16 years old. And then, I got to that age where I was like, hey, I want to try, because you make more money when you shear sheep. It's actually a good income. So, like, I have a lot of people asking me how much you can make. And, I'll be honest with you. Out here, people make anywhere from like $400 to $600 a day on average.
Wow.
So, you're probably making like, on average, no less than, probably $35 to $55 an hour. You do have some expenses, it's going to take you probably like, depending on if you're buying new or used, you're going to have like, $3,500 to $5,500 in initial expenses. So, but you can, in about a year's time, you can start shearing about 75 to 100 a day. And, if you're getting 100 a day at $4 or $5 a head, you're right there at $400 or $500.
Wow.
It's a lot of sheep.
That's a lot. That's a ton of sheep. That's a ton of wool. I guess.
I know, right?
It probably takes
more than a ton
probably
of
takes a lot of wool to get a ton of wool.
It's like 8 to 10 pounds per sheep, roughly.
Oof. That's not a ton.
It's almost half ton.
It's almost a half a ton of wool. Yikes.
Almost a half ton of wool.
How far?
Yeah, I didn't really.
Go ahead.
I've done a lot of other things too, but I remember when I was, excuse me, when I was a kid, I was thinking, shearing's for the birds. It's such hard work, and it really is hard work. But it's I don't know. It's just something, if you've learned it as a trade, it's a skill set you can, kind of carry with you for life and use it. And it's really kind of come in handy in these later years in my life. And, if you don't mind me sharing my story, I was divorced at 38. I was married for 17 years. I had 5 kids, and I went through a real bout of depression, and um, it's just kind of hard to find work when you're depressed, and life's kind of tough. And anyways, I reached out to my Sheeran friend and Lauren Opsedal, and he brought me right on, and I started shearing. It was springtime, and I have not. I'll tell you what. There hasn't been anything that's helped me more than shearing sheep. Like as far as anything else I've done, where I feel it's just as satisfied and as content as I can be, in my own skin. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like very fulfilling. I mean, I know a lot of people they find this videos very satisfying to watch. It's also very satisfying for me watching myself do it and watching the other guys do it. So it's kind of like therapeutic, I guess.
Yeah. That
That's-
makes sense.
That's
Yeah.
I hear that a lot out of the lawn care industry. That there's instant gratification because you can see the grass that you cut, the straight lines, the design. Probably the same thing in sheep shearing of you got a sheep that's
It is.
sheared. It's fresh, it's renewed.
You line them up, freshly pilled. Yes, it's very, very satisfying, and it is very therapeutic. Absolutely.
So you said
Unless you get into some tough sheep. That's the flip side. Is the sheep have grown up since I was a kid. I would say they've probably put on like 25% weight gain compared to what they used to be. I mean, sheep are bigger nowadays, so you get into a lot larger herds where I'm gonna tell you what, it's just a lot of back breaking work. It'll make a man out of you, or it'll break you.
Yeah.
One of the two. I was going to ask. We've got so many sheep shearing questions because we've never had a guest on that does this. I'm not all that familiar with it, and it's just fascinating to watch your TikToks and how you're wrestling the sheep, sometimes the rams that are huge. At least they look huge before the wool comes off.
Oh, yes. You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. They are huge. Some of these animals are just magnificent. Some of these rams, must weigh, they're cracking 300 pounds. Some of these big ones, 350. I mean, they're absolutely huge.
Do they get used to it then? I guess I don't know how often you're shearing sheep.
Yeah. Well, I would say that they probably do kind of get used to it. Like, you can tell the older ones, like, the more they've been through the process, they kind of just seem to lay there a little more still, or they've just chilled out over the years. It's the young ones that can get a little jumpy, but it also depends on like if the ranchers have a lot of like human interaction with the animals. You guys would know this, versus like sheep being out on the range. Sheep being out on the range versus sheep that are kind of kept around the home and the corrals and have a lot of human interaction versus the sheep out in the wild, being chased by coyotes and who knows what. They shear differently. They really are different. So we might go to a nice little farm flock where they're all gentle and they just lay there, like well behaved, and then you get some off the range that are, chased by coyotes and who knows what, and they're a little jumpy.
So do you get to charge differently then? Can you get an idea for what ranch or what farm you're going to, and you can know that this is going to be more work than the rest?
Yes, absolutely. Usually we don't really know until we get into them. Mm-hmm. But yes, we do charge accordingly. I mean, absolutely. I've worked for contractors that it was a long time ago, it was just the same price per sheep, no matter where you went. If that sheep weighed 100 pounds or if that sheep weighed 300, you're getting charged this much. And I think our school of thought, at least the crew that I work with, has changed. And it's like, no, we're going to give breaks where breaks are due and charge for what we do. Right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
How often do you shear a sheep? Is it annually?
Yeah. Once a year.
Once a year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And is there a certain season?
Some breeds will do twice a year, but almost everything around here is once a year.
And it's not like it's all in the spring. You spread it out around the year, or is there like a sheep shearing season?
Oh.
Yes, good question. Yes, there is a sheep shearing season. It's typically it's from January. Like we're going to start here any day. Some people will even start in December. So, but basically, it's January through the end of May, and then you'll have some guys that shear like year round, but they have to travel a lot more. We'll probably travel like us local guys when we do, and I shouldn't say local because man we'll drive 2 hours a day one way just for a job and then 2 hours home. So we'll drive 2 hours, work 8 hours, drive 2 hours home. It's it's not uncommon that I drive at least an hour one way every day, 1 to 2 hours. But then if you're in the off season, you're gonna have to travel like a lot farther, so like out of state. You know what I mean? So a
So
couple states away.
to me, this sounds backwards. You're taking the wool off the sheep during the coldest months.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking the same thing.
I was thinking the same thing when I was 3 years old. And when I was 5, I was like, this is the craziest thing ever. And I still feel that way sometimes. It's like, it's just too cold to be taking their wool off right now. But, you know, it's a pain in the butt when it's cold. You know, there's been some, I'll tell you what, there's some pretty cold days out there when we're shearing. It's pretty tough on the shearer, and it can be tough on the sheep too. Don't get me wrong. But, you know, like it, and honestly, this is one of the biggest questions I get on my channel with all the people that don't have livestock or that have not been around them. They don't understand just like, well, first of all, the rancher, he's got a monetary investment in this animal. And so he's got a vested interest in this animal for it to live, right? Because it's costing him money's on the line. So people don't understand that, right? Like it's in his best interest to keep the animal alive. So yeah, we're shearing when it's cold, but this rancher best have a nice warm shed for them to go into, because if it gets like as cold as it is today, it is negative 18 degrees Fahrenheit with wind chills of minus 50 below. I don't think you want any animal out in that, whether they have their wool on or not.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But so it's kind of ridiculous that we shear in such cold months, but at the same time, we have heaters now, and we have, you know, our trailers are pretty nice where we can tarp them up and put heaters, and the sheep go right back to the shed, you guys. I mean, and then if they start, and what the thing is the rancher needs to shear them before lambing, because of, you know, for all the reasons it helps them with lambing, obviously. But you know, the main thing is you don't like the wool around their ass end. You don't want it to get all that afterbirth on there. It gets kind of like, this is gross, but it gets all matted into the wool on their butts, and it gets just stink. And if you go to try to shear it off, you know, it's gross, you guys. So, you know, for hygiene and whatnot, it's just the best way to shear them before they lamb. And then sometimes, like when they lamb, it can put a lot of stress on them, so it'll cause like a little stress break in the wool. So the quality of the wool degrades just a little bit. So you want to catch them before that. And then also, you know, I mean, if they have like a lot of wool on them down around their udders and stuff, it just opens that up more, so it's easier for the lambs to suckle and whatnot.
Do you keep
That make
all
sense?
do you keep all the wool that you cut, or is that the farmers?
So that's the farmer's responsibility now. In other parts of the country, it's done differently. You know, everybody does things a little differently here and there, but typically in the Midwest here, like Montana, South Dakota, Wyoming, Nebraska, the rancher is responsible for their own wool. That we'll pack it for them and we'll class it. So like when we're shearing it, we'll put different types of wool into different bags and label it what it is, like whether it's tags or bellies or like just the fleeces, the nice fleeces, and then we'll separate it by like crossbreds, white face, finer wool or coarser wool. But yet we leave it on site with the rancher, and it's already pre-marked. You know, it's like written in big markers or sometimes stamped on the bags what it is, so they can just take it right to the wool warehouse. And like where I live here in Belfouche, South Dakota, we have it's one of the largest wool warehouses around that I know of. It's huge. We used to have 2 of them here in Belfouche, South Dakota when I was a kid. That's how many sheep we used to have. The sheep populations have kind of dwindled, but So the rancher will just take that and bring it up to the wool warehouse, and they'll sell it for a market price right there. Usually on the spot, they'll weigh it up, and then it takes them a while to like get it all checked in because some of these guys have just like bales upon bales of wool. You would not believe how much wool comes into this place. It's incredible. Thousands and thousands of bags of it. But yeah, they'll weigh it up. They put it in the computer, and they earmark it by the customer's name or the rancher's name, and put all their notes in there and different types and weights and what it's going to be worth. And yeah, they just cut them a check.
That's wild. It reminds me of what we've learned from the cotton industry. Mm-hmm. That there's different grades of cotton taken into the gin, gets weighed, gets processed. I never thought of that on the wool side, because it certainly has value. There's value to the wool. I guess I don't know
Absolutely.
I don't know the comparison of value to you shearing it. Obviously, it's worth more than you shearing it. Otherwise, yeah, they'd just have you haul it away.
Who sets
Right.
the value? Is it all owned by one conglomerate? Is it auctioned off? I mean, how do we come up with the market of what wool's worth?
That's a really great question, and I'm probably not the guy with all the answers on that. But what I can tell you is that obviously, like center of the nation, they need to make a markup or they need to make a profit as well because they're brokering massive quantities of wool, right? So, they're figuring out what they want to make off of it when they sell it. And when they sell it, I believe they sell it all to the East Coast. There's some mills over there in back east. And like all of our wool just goes back east. But however, I've met some people in my travels that don't sell to these local co-ops or mills. One guy we sheared for a really, really, really nice wool, huge sheep, but he made enough. He shipped it to Australia, still made enough to cover shipping and make like $6 a pound, which is like $5 a pound more than they'll get here for it.
Wow.
I know, right?
And you think of Australia as being the land of the sheep. I mean, I get kangaroo and sheep is what I think's over the only animals that are over there.
I just think snakes when I think Australia.
Well, we're gonna take a little break here before we keep on the shearing side of things. We like to enjoy a drink while we take on these Farm for Fun episodes. And Corey was this a listener submission?
It might have been. Yeah, someone sent me this, and I don't know who it was. I should probably better prepare. But someone sent me that Disaronno, which I don't even know what Disaronno really is. It's the world's favorite Italian liqueur. And I don't know that I've ever had it before. But this and Corona together make Dr. Pepper, or it tastes like Dr. Pepper. So naturally, we're not going to use Corona. We're going to try it with Busch Light.
That's right. Busch Light, proud sponsor. The beer of the Farm for Profit podcast.
Ooh, she is a little icy.
A little icy.
It's about negative.
Watch says
10.
negative 13.
Yeah. Here as well, and the winds are howling. So
Somebody sent you that?
someone sent us a video of it. So
okay.
so we like to.
Okay.
The beer sent to us had to buy the Disaronno. Disaronno.
Marty Nall did send me a nice bottle of.
Is this a good time to freshen up my coffee?
This
Absolutely.
sure
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
All right,
We'll
let
be
me
doing this
warm
for a
up
little
my
bit
coffee.
here.
Go right ahead.
Okay. Am I
All
doing
right.
all right so far?
So here we go.
Very
yeah,
good.
you're doing good.
You're doing okay? Okay.
Here we go, Dave. Tanner.
It's dark.
It looks kind of like Dr. Pepper almost. Let's give it a try.
It smells like Dr. Pepper.
Oh my gosh. It kind of is Dr. Pepper.
It does taste like Dr. Pepper.
It's a little sharper,
Yeah.
but it is.
It's better
I
than
imagine this is what Dr. Pepper tastes like if the Dr. Pepper gets frozen in a bottle and you let part of it melt and you drink the part that's melted and the water is still frozen. You know what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
I like that.
This is actually good.
That's really good.
This is actually good. It is
It
Dr.
is.
Pepper.
It is like a syrupy Dr. Pepper. So now for the rest of this episode, we brought our Brita pitcher back. So Corey's going to dump some Disaronno in the Brita pitcher. And we'll let that sit here while we talk more
on
with.
time?
Yep.
Oh yeah, you're
We're
still good.
We're good.
We also
We'll be right back.
need
Yep.
to thank our buddy Andrew Uphill, old Uppy. He sent us a bunch of snacks, a little care package over from Australia.
Those little red
We've got
thingamabobs are
some
good.
red frogs.
Oh, red
We've
frogs.
tried some red frogs.
And we've all tried them, and the best I can tell, it looks like a little red frog, but tastes like licorice. Doesn't it taste like licorice to you?
It does. They're kind of like those Black Forest little gummies.
But we got Tim Tams,
Tiny teddies. These are Teddy Grahams, I
shapes,
assume?
Vegemite and cheese, some
You
little
say,
minties.
what'd you call them? Tiny what?
Tiny teddies.
Oh, okay.
So Teddy Grahams,
Just like the frog.
just like the frogs. A what frog? Wet frog in the morning?
What frog in the morning?
Warm frog in the morning?
Raw dog in the morning.
Raw frog.
Raw frog. That's what it was. Raw frog in the morning.
I'm going to open up these Vegemite ones, and we'll give those a try. But thanks again to Busch Light for being the staple of the Farm for Profit podcast. We'll see what this Brita filtered Di Serono tastes like here in a couple of minutes. But let's get back into Corey's story here.
Oh, Corey wasn't listening. By the way, this does taste like Dr. Pepper.
It tastes just like Dr. Pepper.
Unbelievable.
It is.
Unreal.
It is. Unbelievable.
This is Rubot coffee right here, guys.
Rubot coffee. That's
Yes.
what your hat says. Yeah.
Actually, one of my sponsors on my show.
Oh, very good.
Well, I don't know if it's really. Is it a show? It's a TikTok.
Is that a Belfouche type brand, or where's the brand come from?
It's out of Texas.
Really?
Yep, somebody I met on one of my lives, and I saw him come on my live, and I saw Rubot Coffee Company. I'm like, wait, what? This is cool. Who are you guys? So I just checked him out, and we started talking. Anyways, yeah, they do. They're kind of like ag-based type people, creating their own coffee brand.
Huh.
Hell, I'd say the podcast needs a coffee brand. You send Rubach over,
Yeah.
and
You need some Rubot.
it's a sweet
Yeah.
hat, too.
It is a nice
It
hat.
is.
Very nice.
Leather patch. Before we get into the TikTok side of the world, though, I still have lots of questions on sheep.
You said
What?
you shear in a trailer? You don't just shear in a barn?
I do shear in a barn as well. Yes.
You have like a mobile dog grooming trailer except for sheep.
Yeah, pretty much. That's funny. I've never heard it called that, but yeah.
I have a sheepdog, so you could shear my. That was one of my questions. Every time we get our dog that's a sheepdog / poodle, sheepadoodle, the clippers are always dull. My wife does it, and we have cattle. We use cattle clippers, but they dull the heck out of them. How the heck do you keep your clippers sharp?
I have a sharpener.
So do you every time? Is it between every animal, or is it
No, it's usually once a day or once every 2 days.
really that okay?
Depending on how many tools I use. But I don't usually like to go more than 2 days of not sharpening because there's just such a stack of them to do that it's just beyond. Because I just make it a routine to come home every night after shearing, and so this is part of the process of being a shearer. Is you have to take care of your own tools unless you have someone doing it for you. But I don't. It's all me. And most people do it themselves. You got to come home, wash your tools because they have all this lanolin and oil and grease and dirt on them. So
Lanolin?
Lanolin.
yes.
Oh,
from the wool.
got it.
Yeah, and then I noticed that
Greasy.
the teeth on sheep shear look like your fingers. They're longer. What does that do versus when you get your hair cut? They're very short. That go past each other, more like a sickle blade.
Yep. No, good question. So it's just like the excuse me. So I have the grinder, right? So you guys know I have my own sharpening. I can do all of my own sharpening of all my combs and cutters. And so it's basically the same thing you have on your cattle clippers and hair clippers and your dog clippers, right? It's a comb and a cutter. So the one on the bottom, the one that rides along the skin, that's the comb. The one that goes across the top does all the cutting. It's called the cutter. And yours is probably just dull as hell right now. And you probably need to send it to me and have them sharpened, honestly.
Yeah, you're probably right.
He's not wrong.
Yep. But the ones, so you were asking though about the ones that we use. So they're typically we use 13 tooth combs and 9 tooth combs out here. Okay. But I like to use 13 teeth. Obviously, the gaps in between the teeth are a little bit narrower, so it's less chance of things like skin and tendons getting in between those teeth. It's just gentler on the sheep. Sometimes we use the 9-teeth combs, so the teeth are spread out wider, right? And you can get a lot stuff goes in there a lot easier, right? Right? So if you're getting into tough shearing sheep, pull out the 9-tooth combs, okay? Because it can go through that tougher wool easier. But they don't necessarily cut the sheep up. If you have a good 9-tooth comb, it's when the combs get thinner is when you have more of a chance of cutting the sheep. You need it to ride off the skin more. But yeah, ours are made specifically for shearing sheep. So, I mean, and it's funny, you guys, like people don't know like just how much goes into making these combs. Like there's so much science that right behind. I mean, there's different bevels and different widths of combs. I like to use about a 96 millimeter wide comb. Okay,
96 millimeters wide. What?
Yes.
How big is that? Is
10
that
centimeters.
okay? So we're talking a couple inches.
Yeah, it's just this wide.
Okay.
Okay, but yeah, it goes from 92 to 98 wide typically on all the combs. So you can get them 92s. They go, 94s, 96s, 98s, but they'll also sell them at like 96 and a half. As far as the width, it's silly. Then there's different bevels. I don't know on the widths if they do half widths, but on the bevel, okay, so now that's the width of the comb, and then you have the bevel of the comb. So the tips of the comb curve up, right, where they ride on the skin. There's a little rounded tip, and that bevel on there, is either blunt or pointy. And so depending on what style of sheep you're in, whether you're in fine wooled sheep or coarse wooled sheep, you'll use it's called a long bevel, right? So it'd be like, you go from anywhere from like 5 to 7 bevel combs out here. Let's just put it that way.
Sure.
And then I've heard of people using, basically down to 3 bevel. They're very blunt tips, but those work good on like coarse wooled sheep or, they just glide through really good. The blunter it is, the less it's going to catch on skin. The pointier it is, the more it's going to catch hide, but the easier it's going to enter tougher wool. So
does it affect speed at all?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. All that. Yep. So if you're using, let's say you're using a medium bevel comb, like a more blunt tipped comb, and the sheep are really tough shearing, like let's say their wool's really matted and has a lot of lanolin and dirt and debris, and they're just dirty, right? Those blunt tip combs just won't go. They just will not. You'll be pushing so hard all day long. The right gear makes all the difference in the world. It's amazing. And these 13 teeth comb they have nowadays, unbelievable how well they cut. It's just unbelievable, you guys. It's come a long way since I was a kid.
So what kind of wool are wool socks made out of? Coarse or fine?
Well, I prefer merino. I prefer
merino.
fine wool. Yeah.
Fine wool.
You guys all
okay.
need merino wool socks.
Merino.
Absolutely.
I got merino wool long underwear.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah.
That would be really good. So when I was mentioning speed, I don't remember if I saw it on ESPN or where I saw it. There's actually sheep shearing races, right?
There are. Yes. Absolutely.
Do you race?
I have. Yes. When we do it here, we don't really have a lot of speed competitions like around in these parts, but there are some, like what we have though. We have like the National Shearing Contest in Rapid City, South Dakota, and that's every February. It's at the Black Hills National Stock Show and Rodeo, but it's based on speed and quality. But quality is always a factor when you get in there, but more of the speed shearing comes into play down in like Australia, New Zealand, and
Is there a group of competitive sheep shearers that's like a Facebook page or something?
Well, somebody just broke a world record, right?
Yeah, Jack Fagan. Jack Fagan, what a legend. David Fagan, legend. You guys should look. These are names you guys should look up in the shearing. I mean, David Fagan is actually a pretty world famous guy. Sir David Fagan. He's even got his own Wikipedia page, you guys.
Sir David.
Knighted?
He's been knighted with a sword.
That should be a goal for us.
I can knight you.
2020.
I can knight you
can
now.
knight me
I do
now.
have a sword.
Oh my God! That should be a
funny.
goal of ours in 2023 is to get knighted we should be Sir David, Sir Tanner, and Sir Corey of the Farm for Profit podcast.
Yes.
Yes. You know, most people, it's funny though, most people, you know, a lot of people think, oh, it's funny because like my most viral video on my TikTok, it's like 100 million views was of me at the national shearing contest. And you just wouldn't believe all the comments from people like, oh, they'll make anything a sport, you know, or like, oh, this, I mean, can't believe this is a sport. And it's like
100
people
million.
really, they don't have any idea.
Nope.
Like, it's a huge sport. I mean, it's so competitive. There's so many sheep shearers around the world. You guys, there's like, there's like 1 billion sheep on this planet. I mean, there's like one for every 7 people. There's got to be so many sheep shearers. And there's so many people that don't even know sheep shearers exist or that they've never even been around it.
And you guys got to be fast because that's the only way you make good money.
Yes, and you've got to be fast because when you pull into a job, you know, these ranchers, they don't want you to sit around and put them up on a stand and take your time and groom them. No, they want production. They have 500, 600, 700, couple thousand. We got to get through them. So yeah, we do need to be quick.
I wouldn't even say the
Absolutely.
word fast. I'd say efficient.
Yeah.
Proficient.
Yep.
Proficient.
Ah, yes.
So
Yes.
do you have to find the work, or at this point does the work just come to you?
I mean, for me, it comes to me, but that's just because I work with Warren. He's a pretty good crew boss. He just lines up all the work. Usually you have out here, you know, you have a crew boss. So one guy that probably owns a shearing trailer and a wool sacker, and
A
he
wool
lines up the
sacker.
business.
What's a wool sacker and what's
I'm
that
gonna
look like?
I'm gonna start calling the other Corey a wool sacker.
Woolly sack.
Wool bagger?
Well, he does
wool
have.
bagger.
He's got wool underwear, so he's got a wool sacker.
A wool sack. Oh, geez, I think
It's a
I just
great
stumbled
job.
into
Even that
one.
pays good too, you know. You just not make anything. When I was a kid, you wouldn't get paid but peanuts. You know, you're lucky if you made $50 a day, and now these guys are making $200-300 to come. You know, compact. It's basically a big wool compactor, hydraulic press, and yeah, it's got these little forks that go down in the bag. That basically, once you press the wool past those little arms, they're little dog ears. They just like the wool comes under them and it can't go back up. And then once it's full, it's like weighs like 400 or 500 pounds, and then they just clip it shut with these little bale clips, and then they'll open up the back door and they'll just run it out with the ram, the hydraulic ram, and it takes like 2 guys to roll it.
I can't get over it. I can just picture the TikTok
You're my wool sacker?
of Corey being a wool sacker, and then the other Corey said that you get paid peanuts, which can be definitely misheard.
and something about a ram through the back door of it. I heard a lot there. I did.
We got down the wrong path really quickly. So let's now move on from the sheep shearing side of things. The only other comment, I do have one more question. It looks like a robotic arm attached to your clippers. Is that to keep the cord from getting clipped, or what? Why does it look like that?
Yeah, it's actually a solid down tube. It's made by Heinegger. I use a Heinegger Evo 3-speed shearing plant. So that's the motor, right? And that has like a mount that mounts up on our ceiling. And then it has a spot where the shaft connects. So that down tube is also called a shaft. You can put your shaft in there in the worm drive and you latch it in, right?
Shaft in the worm drive.
Yeah.
It's a solid drive, and it drives your handpiece. It has a solid drive all the way down the tube, okay? And then it connects into the back end of your handpiece with a worm drive, and that's what makes your handpiece turn. And it's really the best quality item you can buy right now.
It's like a PTO shaft off the tractor to the implement, and the implement happens to be your shear.
This is a lot more adaptive. You can't turn a corner with a PTO shaft.
I know. That's pretty slick.
Yeah.
So do your kids shear sheep? You said 5 kids?
Yeah, no, I mean, my son, you know, he's not really into it. He did come help do the wool quite a bit, though, and he had quite a bit of fun. I think everybody has to try it at least once. I mean, man, if anybody's listening to this and you ever get a chance to go around a sheep shearing day, you gotta
It'd be kind of funny.
I
if
come
we
through
did.
Belle Fourche all the time when I go to Montana to teach auction school. I'm stopping.
It'd be funny if we had a sheep shearing competition between 3 of us,
I wouldn't want to cause harm to the animals.
not knowing anything. Like, you get like 10 minutes of an expert to tell you how to do it.
You get 10 minutes with Corey.
and then you go
And then we go.
do it. Yeah,
I want to see you guys try it.
that'd be funny.
Yeah.
It'd be a good
It
TikTok.
would be.
So speaking of TikTok, you have a significant following on a lot of different platforms, but 1.2 million and growing on TikTok. Is that because of the initial comments that you made that how peaceful you find life shearing sheep, the instant gratification that you get from doing it? Is that what people love about your page, or what do you think it is?
I think it's the first thing one of you guys mentioned on you said we've got ASMR, and I did not expect that at all for you to say that, but really I think it is like ASMR for people, and I never intended it to be that.
You want to know what it is?
But I think a lot of people just look at it like it's so satisfying to watch, and then to them, their brains interpret that as ASMR, whatever that even means.
Autonomous sensory meridian response.
So autonomous means it's going to happen without control. So your brain's just doing this. Sensory
What's
response.
Meridian response
is middle. Meridian's like the prime meridian would be
Like your core?
a center, a middle. Yeah.
Well, okay, so it creates an uncontrolled response in somebody.
Yeah. So a soothing one in this case.
What? Yes, soothing.
Right? We'll not let that escape too far.
Come across like the weird lives of like someone like groping a microphone like with their
the whatever.
Oh man,
like it's like
what
no,
like the people.
That's a different ASMR.
That's way different. I was thinking like the people that like dress up as horses and do that.
No. But they'll like take their fingernails and like scratch over something. And,
Like I tried to make
a tingle in the back of your neck.
I tried to make one of corn being dumped into an auger because I found that mesmerizing. Sitting there watching grain get dumped all fall into an auger, I could almost catch myself nodding off. Maybe I was just tired, but watching the
No,
corn.
it's super mesmerizing.
Yeah. That's the same thing you stare at a fire. You light a fire in a fireplace or around a campfire, around Dave's solo stoves.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
So how did you even figure out you were in the ASMR? Or were you going for it?
Well, what's funny is this gal, a Professor Amanda. She's somebody I met through TikTok, and she said something about like your voice and like when I do the voiceovers and I talk over my videos, and it's very soothing and calming.
It is.
I've been noticing that. We're going to have to get you to do some ads for Farm4Profit.
She said it comes across as ASMR, and it's very real. She's like, you ever thought of a career in ASMR? And what is even that? I don't even know. I've never even heard of that. I'm like, okay. So that's why you see the ASMR in my little bio description and sheep shearing ASMR, because I guess it is for people.
Our poor listeners during the show are going in and out of being relaxed. They hear Corey talk, and then they get my screechy ass voice that comes on to ask the next question and snaps them right back out of it.
His voice is very soothing, and
This is a good show, man. It's a good show. I like you guys a lot. I really do. Thank you. This is fun for me. Thank you so much for having me on.
we're not being on.
We're not even close to being done. At least the number of questions I've got, I'm not letting you go yet. But let's taste. We filtered this Di Serono through the Brita pitcher, which is obviously another TikTok deal that we've seen. So we put it in there, and Corey, I think, poured us some pure Di Serono. Some diesel.
Distilled.
Some leaded.
Unbelievable.
Debritted.
Okay, so
You
this
Brita
is
filter that.
This is the filter.
Brita filtered. Yep.
What?
This
This
is the
is something I've never seen.
Oh, there's all over TikTok. There's people putting like vodka through it, and then they say
Smells
it
like-
just tastes like water. Oh, you're giving me crap.
Oh my gosh.
It's
This
smooth.
is too much.
It's
Never
smooth.
heard of it. How is it?
Now, which one was this?
This was the filtered, and now you got to try the unfiltered.
That tastes. Oh,
It
you
is
went
very smooth.
backwards.
I did.
Wow.
Oh, it's more harsh. It's a little more sharp.
That's cough syrupy.
It is.
It is syrupy.
There's a lot of sugar.
It'd be
in
good
there.
with orange.
Wow, that Brita.
Orange Sunkist.
It took the
That Brita.
edge off.
Yes, it did.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Never even heard of that before. Makes it smooth, huh?
It does.
Oh boy, that was.
Can I warm up my coffee?
Yeah.
Go right ahead.
Go for it.
Absolutely.
I need to warm up my
Go
coffee.
get some more Rubach.
Yes, more Rubach.
So Corey, you have this coffee that you've been drinking while we've been filtering our Di-Serrano, which we've attested that almost tastes like Dr. Pepper by itself, which is probably why mixing it with beer tastes like Dr. Pepper. But are you a caffeinated coffee at night, or is this a decaf version?
Ooh, it does have caffeine. Yes, it does.
So you gonna be up all night, or does that not affect you?
Oh, I'll probably be up for a while. I'll probably be up till midnight, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not much going on here. It's been like 20 below all day, 18 to 20 below. Wind chill factors are crazy.
What do you do?
It's
What do you
nuts.
do when you're not sharing sheep besides TikTok?
Well, for the last 5 years, I've done kind of like handyman and construction type work. So, yeah, you name it, anything from building decks to, putting on roofs or doing metal or whatever, bathroom remodel, kitchen remodels, whatever needs done,
Yeah.
done all of it. Yep.
But then you've also built up a YouTube following doing, is it product reviews?
Yeah, it's kind of all over the place. So that's another good topic. Because I started doing like video work like probably 10, 15 years ago. So I started a YouTube channel and I was trying to make it like learn how to make passive income on the internet. And I heard YouTube was like a good way to do it. And it has actually been a great way to make passive income because I have. I cannot tell you how many times my YouTube channel has made my car payment. It's great. It's nothing to write home about, but that's probably because I didn't do it like 100% the best way possible. Kind of like I did with my TikTok, like I kind of knew from making YouTube videos, like how algorithms work on these platforms because I'd made enough content. But what I failed to do on that channel, Rapidtronics, is stick to something. Like if I would have just done nothing but product reviews and maybe how-tos, it would have been perfect. But I intertwined a lot of other topics into that, and so it just blew up the algorithm. And it still gets a lot of views, don't get me wrong, and I can still rank for videos on there. But like the way to go, like if you want to make content just like you guys, you do like the agriculture based, you're ag based, you're focusing in on a niche, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
I like to call it niche. What do you guys call it?
Niche.
I'm a niche.
Dave?
What are you, Dave?
I think I'm niche.
Yeah, you would
would.
totally be a niche.
You would.
I would totally be a niche.
You are.
I like niche.
You would.
I have a niche. Yeah.
You have a niche? You have a niche? Yeah, a niche on your
I
nose?
have a niche right here.
On your whole sack?
On my whole sack. I have a niche right
I'm sure
here.
you guys have heard of Gary V.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you guys know Gary V.
Yeah.
Of course. And he's the one that said, he's like, nowhere can you go where you can have like no followers, no traffic, post one video and get 1 million views overnight. And that would be like TikTok. And I was like, yeah, right. And I posted a bunch of stupid videos. I mean, cheesy, cringy videos. And then one day I thought, I'll post a sheep shearing video. That might be cool. And sure enough, by the time I got home, it had like almost 1 million views. And I was like, whoa, what happened, And I thought, well, this is something. And I thought, okay, I've done enough to know, like, if I want to, go viral with it, just keep doing it. And that's what I did. I just kept making sheep shearing videos. I have other content on there too, but just went with the sheep shearing videos and lots of it.
So you're a student of the algorithm. The TikTok algorithm has, in my opinion, changed. We got on in early 2020.
Yeah, late to, I think I was November 2019.
Yeah, sometime in there. But, back then it was easy, I would say, to go viral.
On
and
TikTok?
now,
Yes.
And now you can. I'll still get a video once in a while and get 1 million or 100,000 or whatever, but it's definitely few and far in between. Maybe I'm just more boring. Has it changed in your opinion?
I don't know if it has or not because it's still hit and miss for me too. But I've noticed different things. Like if I'm live, if I'm just doing live streaming like this talking, I won't get hardly any views. But as soon as I go live streaming when I'm shearing, I mean, I've looked up and had hundreds of people in my room, or
Wow.
the other day, I had my like the biggest live I ever had, there like 2,300 people in there at one time. I was just like, whoa, you know. But I think it just depends on the type of content, you know, like especially for lives, and then like on the platform, you know, I don't have a lot of fresh content, but when I do start making good fresh content in my niche, it certainly helps. But like throughout the summer, or you know, summer and fall, it's like I repurpose a lot of videos or repost a lot, and some of them don't really do very well. And like even the videos I've been posting lately are not performing well at all. And I, you know, who knows? I don't know. I also, you know, I joined. There, I'm glad we're talking about all this stuff, because these are like, I know these are questions that a lot of people have.
Yeah.
Like not just people that watch the channel, but like other creators as well.
Yeah.
So like I joined the Creator Fund. What was it, like over a year ago or like 2 years ago? And like my views went down to nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Like right after it. And I was reading all over the internet how that was affecting other creators' accounts. So I dropped out of it. And sure enough, all my views came back. But now I'm back in it, and I'm still getting some views that will get over 1 million views. But I don't really know. You know, should I drop out of it? Or you know,
That's
also
strange.
there's this other thing called Pulse, TikTok Pulse, and I joined that as well, and it allows advertisers to run ads alongside of your videos. And I check mark that on certain videos and allow that. And I've also heard on like Reddit forums that can affect your traffic. Like basically they'll just throttle it down. I don't know.
Really?
I think that's like if you take a TikTok and put it on Facebook, Facebook will just throttle that thing down. I
see
swear
the
I
watermark.
get they see the watermark. I get no views, but if I'll like crop it, cap cut it, make the video organic, put it on YouTube without any TikTok stuff.
Right. Same thing. Just get rid of the.
Yeah, they want you using their service.
Oh yeah.
To organically
Right.
post content.
They want those natively posted videos.
Right. So
Every
Corey,
platform, yeah.
So, Corey, we're really good at breaking our episode up and kind of changing gears, keeping the listeners on their toes. And we like to play a game each show with a guest.
Play a game.
We like to play a game. Do you want to play a game?
Ooh.
And
Now I just got scared.
yes, this game
So scary.
This game has now come by a lot of different names. We took a lot of heat. I'm going to say a lot is a relative term. A lot of heat during 2022 for calling it the Do, Marry, Kill game, because apparently saying kill is too harsh
You
for
can't
some
say that
people. So we've adjusted it to start, bench, or cut. So imagine you are a professional sports team and you have to make a choice if you're going to start this player, if you're going to keep them on the team but you're going to bench them, or you're going to cut them from your team. And we're going to give you 3 choices. So I'm not going to let you go at this alone. Both Dave and Corey will have to participate as well. But we'll start off the first one. We're talking fried foods. So we'll start off with French fries, onion rings, and cheese curds, cheese balls. Start, bench, cut.
That's the whole
Wow.
team right there.
I'm going to have to say bench.
To which one? No, you got to choose out of each 3. You got to assign a starting position to one, got to bench
to
one,
one.
and then you got to cut one.
Right.
French fries,
All right.
onion rings, cheese curds.
All right, we'll start the fries, we'll bench the onion rings, and we'll cut the turds.
Oh, no. Are you guys the same?
Not at all.
No.
No?
Cheese curds are my start. French fries are my bench, and onion rings, just get rid of them.
See, I'm completely opposite. I love French fries, but I'm gonna cut them.
Yep.
And
I'm with
the
you.
right onion rings, I'll keep them on the bench.
Shoestring ones?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the thin ones, not the big thick ones.
But cheese curds are on top.
and then cheese curds done right as well.
Yeah.
You know, because it's fried and it's cheese. It's like 2 food groups coming together.
I know.
All right, let's stick food, but now we're going to go meals, classification of meals.
Ooh.
Breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Start, bench, cut. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Or supper. Dinner or supper,
Supper.
whatever you guys call it.
That's a tough one. Who are you starting with this time?
You get to go first.
you're the
You're the
guest.
guest of honor.
Oh, I mean, you don't have to start with me. Just 'cause I'm Oh boy. Okay, let's start. The only one I can bench is breakfast,
Okay.
and we'd have to start with lunch.
You're cutting dinner.
Ah, no, 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 no. I take that back. I meant to say the only one I can cut is breakfast. Start with lunch, bench dinner.
I don't think I can disagree with him.
I'm 100% there, but I'm gonna say I can have breakfast for supper or dinner.
Oh, you're cheating. is what
No.
you're doing.
I'm saying the food that normal, like bacon
Yeah,
and
that's true.
eggs and
I agree with
pancakes.
that.
Like,
Omelets.
yeah, you can have that for dinner.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
No, that's good. Well, there you go. That was a little start bench cut here to
That's funny.
to
I
break
like it.
up the end of this. But I kind of want to close out here the last however many minutes we end up hanging out at the end of this. Going back to what you said right away, the information that you volunteered right away at the beginning of the conversation, because it shows up in your social media, it shows up in your YouTube, your discussion about depression and how
Yeah.
it's across agriculture, it's across the world, and that it's a real thing. You know, it's not easy to talk about. It might strategically be a reason it's at the end of the podcast episode. So if someone wanted to stop and not take it to heart, what do you go ahead?
Before you strategically go into something depressing, I want to go into something before the end. So if
geez.
that's your end,
That's not the end.
It doesn't
That's-
have to be the end.
We're going next.
well, you're going towards the end. I want to go towards freshly
So
peeled.
now it's a cliffhanger.
It's a cliffhanger. That is a
cliffhanger.
cliffhanger.
It's coming.
There's
It's a
this whole deal
cliffhanger.
that
It's coming.
I
We
keep
are talking
seeing
about it.
freshly peeled. What is freshly peeled?
Okay, Dave. Freshly peeled. Listen, you guys, I have a little label, right? Just a little brand. I've got some merch. It's called Freshly Peeled Merch. And thank you for asking, because it came from, well, I thought, well, it'd be cool to have merch, but like the ideas for it came from all the comments on the TikToks. And one comment in the very beginning when I started posting these is like, everybody said, oh, freshly peeled sheep. And then everybody else in the comments would be like, every other comment would be like, I like your cut, G. I like your cut, G. And it was just like over and over. So now I have these shirts that have the freshly peeled logo, and it's a little sheep coming up out of this banana peel, and it's just cute. It's really cool. It's actually quite catchy, and it's a conversation starter for sure. And then
Yeah.
on the other one, it says, I like your cut, G, with that same sheep, that comes out with the smile, like he's happy to be getting his
Yeah.
haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
one of
wish
my
I had something to show you right now, but yeah, no, thank you.
Where do we go to look at it if we wanted to look
one
at
of
it?
my favorite sounds. That I like your cut, G.
Yeah.
I know, right? You can just go to my website, CoreyBricker.com.
Spelled the right way.
CoreyBricker.com.
All right, enough with the freshly peeled.
Wait, I
but
mean,
I want to get that.
you don't have any like merino wool stuff there? Like you don't like take a handful of wool with you every time you go or something?
Yeah.
You get it one piece at a time?
doggone time.
One
You want to
piece
hear
at
a
a
funny
time.
thing? I came
Yeah.
home with so much wool last year, I didn't have enough room for it all. Okay. Like they volunteered it. I took every black fleece I could get my hands on, you guys. And I ended up donating it to a lady here in town who spins wool and washes it because I didn't have room for it. And I'm telling you what, this stuff is worth like $10-12 a pound. She's like, I can't afford all that. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, well, listen, I'm not here to charge you and make all that money. You could just, here, give me $100 and it's yours.
It's like a
And I
black
literally
market
gave her-
sheep wool dime bag. Here's a dime bag of wool.
Let me tell you guys something. That fine black wool is worth the most money of anything I know. For the spinners market, it is in
For the
high
spinners
demand.
market.
It's worth a lot.
Not the black
Yes.
market.
Yeah.
Black wool
Right.
market.
Is there a big
That'd
beef?
probably be hard if you were a wool sacker.
You know
To
that,
not just shove some of that in your pockets.
okay, so we've made
All you gotta-
t-shirts.
No. You just ask. All you do is ask them.
Yeah.
Just ask the rancher. Yeah, I'm like, hey, do you care if I have one of these? And I mean, like 9 times out of 10, they'll say yes. They'll give you the black wool a lot of times, unless they like it and they know spinners that they're going to give it to. Then
Sure.
they'll, hoard it. And like I've had the guys give me some nice white fleeces too, fine wool fleeces. Just ask. Yeah, it's great.
So we've had shirts made, and sometimes you get some polyester in there. We've had some cotton growers on, and they get all up in arms when there's the wrong
Cotton blend?
Yeah, cotton blend or whatever. It's not a fully cotton. Is there a big beef between wool and cotton?
I think so. I mean, you know what? I don't know the history on it. It's probably worth, mentioning, how that, because, I'm sure wool is a direct competitor with cotton. So cotton probably is easier to produce and cheaper. And back when, it first became competitive in our country, like it was probably two competitive markets somewhat. I really don't know. I know a lot of wool was sold to our military. A lot of wool was sold to the military, right, to make clothes for our military men. So yeah, there's probably been those two industries have probably been at odds with each other for a long time. But wool is definitely superior in quality. Under this, I have my wool Carhartt on, and I wore it every day in shearing last year, and I wear it every day when it's cold. It doesn't wear out. It's always warm, and it always just wicks well. It's good stuff, you guys. I do have a link in my Corey Breaker website page where you can buy fine merino wool. Right now, it's not my product, but it's a link to Amazon, and it's like fine quality merino products. There's a lot on there.
Sure.
And what I'm doing with my content as well is I'm not just trying to be a creator. Like I'm really trying hard to promote the agriculture industry and sheep in general, just because I see like, well, why are we importing any lamb from anywhere in this world? We have plenty of farms and ranches here. There's a lot of money in sheep. There's people that tell me every ranch I go to, like, people laugh that we raise sheep, but the sheep have always pulled us through. They've always been the moneymaker for us.
Well, the comment that I've been holding back is when you compare cotton to wool, cotton's grown to make cotton. I've always viewed wool as a byproduct of raising sheep.
Right.
You breed sheep to have lambs to make more sheep to then ultimately sell at market.
And euros.
And to make euros.
Yeah.
Yes.
Euros. Lamb euros. I agree with that.
So wool to me is like a bonus. It's a byproduct. It's a byproduct of raising sheep. But
Right.
yet is such a
It is.
necessity in the world.
Right. And most people raise them most people, I should say most, not everybody. A lot of people just raise meat sheep, but most people around here raise meat and wool sheep. So they're doing it for dual purpose. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're doing it for the wool as well. Back in the day, it used to be worth, it was worth a lot more, and there used to be government incentives. So yeah, you could make a lot of money off your wool back in the day. Now you still could make pretty good money on it,
I like this. Well, I think I got a good idea here. Let's put my question into the after show.
I think we made it to the edge of the cliff.
We got what is please elaborate,
It
Dave.
doesn't have to be on.
Well, he said we had a cliffhanger. Didn't you hear him?
Oh, yes.
Corey said we got a cliffhanger. We just made it.
I thought you were tying this
Yes.
into the profit show.
But you seriously should go check out the link in my CoreyBreaker.com site, okay? For the fine merino wool.
You have the
Go check
most
it out.
links I've ever seen
You
in
just
someone's
would
bio.
not believe what's out there. It's expensive, don't get me wrong, but it's going to be the best piece you've ever had. If you don't have it, whoever's listening, I'm just putting a plug in for merino wool. I don't know who's listening to your podcast, and
Everyone.
by the way, I did download it onto my iPhone before, and I was listening to you guys a little bit. So, just want to say thanks for what you're doing here. I love it, and I can relate with the whole banking thing. I've never done the ag banking, but I was a real estate lender for like 7 years, guys. I did real estate mortgage loans for 7 years. I used to work.
That's
at
how he
one of
got the
busiest
gray in
banks
his beard.
Wyoming. It is. All these realtors and buyers, making me go gray real fast. It's a tough market, buddy. So I feel for you.
It's happening. The gray's setting in.
Frosty.
Yes.
Silver Fox.
Yeah, I just want you to know, I feel for you every day when I see your little videos in the cubicle. Yep.
When I see your little videos in the cubicle.
I don't know if it's
I'm
ever
like-
been said any better.
I'm surprised you've seen him.
Oh, yeah.
That was a dagger.
Wait,
check everyone
the
out.
dagger.
He also did. He also did probably have to go look it up himself.
Make sure
Go
you
to
were
the
a real
profile.
person
Yes.
that was talking to him.
I spend probably just as much time on TikTok watching videos as I do making them.
No, I totally get that. No, this has been an absolute pleasure, and I love it when there's way more stuff on the piece of paper that we've got than we had to talk about, which means we get an excuse to do this again sometime. But we're not going to end this yet. We will have an after show. It might not be super long, but we want to get to the bottom of what's
Let's go.
on the other side of the cliff.
I haven't even followed the doggone.
Well, I know you haven't. That's the best part, when the conversation just flows, when we're purely curious.
Like 8 more topics.
When we
That-
rock
That
and
paper
roll.
is only for Tanner. We don't. It does not.
We don't.
Yeah, we don't look at that.
It's for only if we have somebody really boring on, and that wasn't Corey.
I really appreciate you guys, but like for seriously though, like my goal, like, and especially with like Farm for Profit, this is just more validation for what I do, and I really am trying to help the rancher and the farmer, and this whole industry, the wool. I'm not just trying to like show off my shearing or anything like that. You know what I mean? I hope you guys see that, and I hope you see that like I feature other people across around the world on my channel. It's not just about me. It's about like I really like what we do, and I would like to see it grow. I want to see people make money with their sheep, and I want to see people. It's just amazing to me, like how many people are just clueless that wool products even exist. Like, let's create some awareness. I'm using your platform right now. I'm speaking loud about it. Let's go for wool. Come on, sheep. Let's go. Lambs, mutton. Right? Don't eat mutton. Eat lamb, young lamb. It's the best meat you'll ever have, you guys. Right?
We just need a 2-syllable word. Instead of let's go Brandon, we need let's go wool something. Let's go.
Let's go mutton.
Let's go mutton.
No, he said don't eat mutton. He said
hashtag.
eat young lamb.
Yeah.
Let's go young lamb. We're going to put
Let's
young
go
lamb, which is also going to make up a new hashtag.
Young lamb?
Young lamb.
Sounds like a
Go
rapper.
lamb.
Like your cut, G.
Go lamb.
Young
Like your
lamb.
cut, G.
Lanolin?
Try spelling that. Now, this has
I don't
been...
know. It would just be a dream of mine if I could like actually have an effect on it and like more,
You
like if
are
people
having an
saw-
effect on it.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate that. Like if I saw it have a ripple effect on the industry, like what I'm doing and creating more awareness for other people, and like people that produce wool and sheep, it's a great product. I don't know why everybody's hating on it. There's a lot of people that just I don't know. They
I don't know that
think it's
anyone
great.
hates on it, or maybe they do, but I think it's just
There's a lot.
People are just.
I think
There
you
is.
should
There's
get
a lot
us
of people that
to come like as guests to the national sheep shearing contest, and then we'll compete against all the pros against
geez.
us 3 randoms.
No. We don't have to compete. We just...
No, they take all 3 of our times and
Yeah.
and divide it by 3.
Divided by 3,
Yeah,
and hopefully
one person has
it's
to
like
try
a
to beat
scramble,
all
except
3 of us.
it's like a scramble in golf. Yeah.
We got asked to go talk it across the
That's
pond
right.
at a sheep conference.
That's right. You were supposed to be a comedian.
Yeah. Hey, I didn't really look too far back, but can I ask you guys like how long have you guys been doing this Farm for Profit podcast?
3.5 years.
Wow, that's incredible. Congratulations, man.
We got a couple
I really
hundred,
dig it.
couple hundred episodes out there. I think we're 200 and some.
240.
We started going to 2 shows a week here in June. So we put one out every Monday, put one out every Thursday. Quite a bit of content, but we felt it was necessary because the people we want to talk to, the list just gets longer and longer and longer. I always feared when we first
And then
started.
how do you find these people?
They come to us. Honestly, they come to us. They either come to us by someone suggesting it, or they come across our Instagram, our For You page,
It's
an
like, oh, we
email.
How
gotta
did you
get
find
them
me?
on.
How did you even find me? And
I'm
did somebody recommend it?
pretty sure it was either a suggestion or you came
TikTok?
across the For You page. It was definitely on TikTok.
Yeah, it would have been
Huh.
TikTok based.
Yeah.
If we ever
incredible.
need a
That's-
guest and we're like, we need someone fresh, and you just go scroll on TikTok and it'll be there within 10 minutes.
Do you hashtag Farm Talk?
Hashtag Farm Talk?
Yeah.
I don't. Should I?
There's a whole world out there of farm talkers, agriculture
Yep.
folks.
Wow. Maybe I should start tagging that on all my videos.
We'll be getting together
Farm
in Louisville in February at the National Farm Machinery Show.
Oh my gosh.
We've had a
that's
couple of just
incredible.
agriculture people meetups already.
And what did we have? We had almost 300, almost 400 people together.
400 people. Everybody from dairy to row croppers to across the pond in Australia to, yeah.
That is so. That's fascinating.
Which also makes us sound really bad because you're the first sheep-related individual we've had on the show in 3.5 years.
Yeah.
Hey, it's okay. You know what? It's a start, and maybe you'll find some more.
Well, I know we will. I mean, that's
Absolutely.
we're
There's some
excited.
cool. I got to tell you what, man. There are some cool sheep people out there. You know what? Let me just put this in here too. Before we jump off the cliff and go on to another subject. This is one of the favorite things about this job, you guys, is every day when I wake up and I get in my car and I go to a new place, I get to see some beautiful country. I get to get my mind right on the road. I get my coffee. I get my alone time with just me and my thoughts. And I think about, I'm going to go do a good job for someone. And, I see just everything and, all these ranches and farms, and I drive around and I get to see beautiful country every single day.
I need to
just
Discovery Channel
can't
pilot
explain it, you guys.
of Corey.
It's the most freeing feeling in the world. Like when you think about like driving to work to go sit in the cubicle, and I don't mean to make you feel bad about your job.
No, that's okay. You should.
It's usual.
When you go out into the world and you just get out and you see this world, and I've seen so much of like South Dakota, and I've been to like every place you can imagine, you guys. It's the most amazing feeling in the world. I can't compare it to anything else I've experienced. It's the most freeing feeling in the world I've ever felt.
Well, I'm
traveling around.
looking forward to your answer to this next question, because we ask all of our guests the same question at the end of every episode, and we don't give you any time to prepare outside of maybe a little bit of stalling. But we
all right.
this year, at the beginning of 2023, the question that we've started asking is, how do you define success? What does success look like to you?
And I think it is a personal thing. I think it's how you view it for yourself. And for me, it would mean, honestly, right now, for me, what it would mean, and I know exactly what it means for me, it would be, my definition of a success right now would be getting off my ass and take care of the things that I procrastinate doing.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it would. Yes, because if you do that, then you're battling your demons and you're doing the things that you don't want to do. And it's in doing the things that we don't want to do that we find success. I really believe that.
Does that list ever end?
I don't think it does. I don't think it does. And I don't, as far as success goes, it also, I mean, for me, yes, it would be, there would also be some monetary value gained as well. Like I would like to see some success from doing all the content that I've created and all the efforts that I've put into it. I haven't really made a lot from my efforts from my channel. Like some of the sponsorships have been nice, but they're, like shearing tools and stuff. So to me, it would be cool to be just successful to where I can just make and create content and be able to live off of that income. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. We'd be
That would
lying.
be like my ultimate success,
We'd be lying if we didn't agree with you.
Yeah.
right?
To sit here and do this all day.
Well, we must be like-minded, you guys.
We've come.
Corey,
Oh, yeah.
We've come to learn that with
Come on.
the guests
Yeah,
that we
I'm
have.
with you.
I mean, Corey spelled the same way. It's destined to think the same
Destined.
There's not a lot of Corys.
wow.
Spelled right.
way. Spelled right. You can't really spell
Yeah.
Tanner wrong, so I never get to make that
I
joke.
think I changed your name in my phone. Maybe.
Well, I hope you guys make so much money that you don't ever have to go back to your other jobs. How's that?
Oh, wouldn't that be?
Good luck with getting Tanner to do that. He could probably make all the money in the world and he'd still stay banking.
But I like that. I like I like
comfortable.
Yeah, not even necessarily comfortable, but it's just the aspect of being able to help guide, help provide advice, and help get people to
can
have
do
financial
that.
success on their own.
You can do that in other ways.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe you can help me out, Tanner.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. Absolutely. Let's get it there. All right. This has been a good show. We haven't covered half the stuff we wanted to cover,
We got to cover one.
but we got to pick an ending.
Yeah.
And I think now is where we cut off the show. So, Corey, remind our listeners how they find you on your platforms. What's the best way for them to look you up?
Yeah, just go to CoreyBricker.com, CoreyBricker.com. It's just like it sounds, Corey Bricker. It's like
You literally
brick with an
can't
ER on
spell
the
it
end
wrong.
of it. People spell it wrong
your
all the
Dave.
time. But yeah, it's you can find all my socials on there. In fact, since you guys did bring up my Rapitronics YouTube channel, it's actually relevant. I'm going to go ahead and add that too. It's basically I made my own link tree page, and it has all my links on it. So yeah,
bunch.
go check it out. If you're watching this, or if you're Corey Tanner or Mr. Whitaker, you should check it out as well.
Awesome. Well, this has been a pleasure, Corey. Now, how do we send our listeners out?
It's Crack a Bush Light. You deserve it.